Hi there and welcome back. Bruce here from Steelmaster again. Today I'm going to talk about the differences in metal thicknesses and tensile strengths and how they apply to your home or business roof. One very common question we often get asked is, how thick is the metal we use? With this statement quickly following that question, we don't want the cheap stuff. So we decided to do this video to hopefully give you a better understanding of what those thicknesses and strengths are for. A common thought is that thicker is better. It has to have a better warranty and simply has to be a better product. This thought is often perpetrated by contractors who may not be too well versed on the different applications metal is used for. First thing I want to mention is that implied warranties, when referring to 30, 40, or even lifetime warranties, actually have nothing to do with the thickness or durability of the panel. We'll talk more about warranties in an upcoming video, but in short, warranties are all about the paint. The paint companies are the ones who provide the warranty. The paint is what protects the panel from corroding. Without a good paint system, all steel will corrode and fail. Warranties normally have nothing to do with the strength or thickness of the steel. You're probably thinking, oh come on Bruce, don't feed me full of smoke. Are you trying to tell me it doesn't matter how thick the metal is? I know better. I've seen that cheap stuff. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. What I'm trying to say though is that the thickness of the metal you should use is all about the application you're using it for or the type of panel you are using. Some panels are designed to be installed over solid sheeting like your conventional homes. Others are designed to be installed over purlin systems like steel buildings where there's no solid sheeting. Only purlins to support the panels every 4 or 5 feet. The type of application where metal has to span distances needs to be thicker and designed differently to be more durable. The thickness of metal roofing is measured in gauges. The most common gauges used in metal roofing are 24, 26, and then a 28, 29 gauge material. It's measured like a shotgun. The smaller the number, the thicker the material. For residential homes with solid sheeting like OSB or plywood, 28, 29 gauge is often used if you're doing an exposed fastener system. 26 gauge if you're using a concealed type system. With purlin type systems like pole barns where wooden 2x4s are spaced every 2 feet, 28, 29 gauge metal is the most common. On steel buildings where the spacing of the purlins is greater than 4 feet or 5 feet, 26 gauge is often used for the exposed fastener, while 24 gauge is used for pretty much all the concealed fastener systems. So you might be thinking, why is there a difference in thickness on a concealed fastener versus an exposed fastener if they're being applied to the same kind of roof? The reason for this is all about the design of the panel and its rigidity. What gives a panel most of its rigidity is the raised profiles in the metal. Essentially, the closer the spacing, along with the design of the profile, the more rigid the panel will be. The more rigid the panel, the thinner the actual material needs to be. On our exposed fastener system, you see that the profiles are every 9 inches, with the added smaller stiffening striations in the middle. The closeness makes this panel very rigid, which means you can use a thinner material. Another aspect of steel roofing material that is measured is the tensile strength. Tensile strength refers to the amount of stress that the material can handle until it stretches and breaks. The higher the grade, the stiffer the material. The exposed fastener material is a grade 80. Now, if you look at our snap lock concealed fastener panel, you notice that the profiles are much further apart. They're 16 inches instead of 9. This is done to create what most people believe is a cleaner, more aesthetic pleasing roof, or less lines to visually see. Because the profiles are further apart, with less to strengthen the panel, a thicker gauge is needed to make up for the difference. However, you might be surprised to know that it's actually a lower grade. This is a grade 50 compared to the grade 80 that we talked about for our exposed fastener system. The reason for this is to allow the thicker material to be formed and bent easier with less chance of fracturing or cracking the paint. If you notice, the concealed fastener has a sharper bent profile instead of the more rounded design of the exposed style panel. This is an intentional design to allow for the tensile strength. This is why this popular panel works great for conventional solid decked roofs, but shouldn't be used when spanning purlins. Another thing to notice is the center minor striations. These are put in to help stiffen the panel, just like we explained for the exposed fastener system. Some customers do prefer the flat look in the middle, so in order to compensate for the lack of stiffening striations, you have to go with a thicker 24 gauge panel. We do caution everyone though that without those stiffening striations, even when using a heavier material, you need a very even surface. You still will be able to see some dimpling or what is known as oil canning. We do not recommend installing without minor stiffening striations unless you prefer seeing the oil canning over the striations. Heavier 24 gauge does help eliminate some of the oil canning, but definitely will not hide everything. We want to talk more about the different types of standing seam panels and the applications they are used for in an upcoming video. Hopefully this video helped clear up some of the confusion around the details of the metal we use for our roofs. Remember, when shopping for a new roof, to consider why the thinner or the thicker gauge material is used, as well as the grade of the metal used. Again, a roof is not a one-size-fits-all application. Each gauge and grade of metal used is designed for a specific purpose. We will talk about more of the different panel types in an upcoming video. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram if this video was helpful and you would like to learn more. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something and have a great day.